This is Brooklyn, St. Michael with the School of Aquaponics, and this is Ask the Aquaponics God. Preventing you from becoming a biscuit-headed grower. I want to thank you guys for liking the video, subscribing to the channel. I sincerely appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, today what we're going to be touching on, we're going to be talking a little bit about pH, a little bit about alkalinity, and a little bit about alkaline. What is alkaline? Is alkalinity and alkaline, are these the same things? We're gonna find out right now. So I got a viewer who's asking about this, my man Alan Boswell. We're gonna get into his email right now that he wrote me, and we're gonna see if we can clear this up for my man Alan, and for those of you guys out there that might be unsure what the difference is. So the email goes as follows. Dear Brooklyn, thank you for all your hard work. Well, I appreciate that, Alan. I sincerely appreciate it. I do it for you guys. I love doing it. This is how I love spending my time. And I want to, present as much as I possibly can to you guys out there. It says, but there is still something I don't understand. Alkalinity. Are not alkalinity and high pH the same? If we raise the pH, do we not add alkalinity or alkaline? Can't get my head around it. Regards, Alan Boswell. So, let's jump into this, Alan. We're gonna get into this right now. It's a hot topic right here. So, what it looks like is there may be a confusion of terms because of some of the terms sound similar, and they might be giving off the notion that they're the same, which is not the case. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to jump into the terms. We're going to define the terms, and I'm going to show you how each one of these relates to the question and how each one of these functions separately, and they're not all the same. So let's get into that right now. So the first term that we're going to define is pH. We're going to understand exactly what pH is in order to get closer to differentiating between alkaline and alkalinity. So pH, so basically what this is it's a term that's used to describe the acidic or alkaline characteristic of a solution. So for example, if you have a solution with more hydrogen ions than it does hydroxide ions, that solution would be classified as an acidic solution. Conversely, if you have more hydroxide ions than you do hydrogen ions in a solution, that would be classified as alkaline or basic. Those two are interchangeable, alkaline and basic, right? Now, when we're talking about the characteristics of a solution, the alkaline or how acidic a solution is represented on a scale from 0 to 14. This is the pH scale. Some sources may have it 1 to 14, but we'll just use 0 to 14 just to simplify it. So when you have a solution that has an equal amount of hydrogen ions and hydroxide ions, that is classified as being neutral, or 7, represented by the number 7 on the pH scale, right? When you start swaying to the left of the of 7, when you start going into 6.9, 6.5, 6, 5, all the way down to 0, that's when you start having a solution that has more hydrogen ions than it does hydroxide ions. That is an acidic solution, right? That's an acidic solution. When you start dipping towards the right, going above 7, 7.1, 7.2, 7.5, 8, 9, 10, that is demonstrating that there's a solution that has more hydroxide ions than it does hydrogen ions. And that is classified as an alkaline solution. So when we're referring to alkaline, that is what is describing a solution that has more hydroxide ions than it does hydrogen ions. So we need to clear that up first. That's the first thing that needs to be understood. Alkaline is a term that is that's a characteristic of a solution's basicity. In other words, the having more hydroxide ions than it does hydrogen ions, right? So now when we're referring to alkalinity, this is something that's different than alkaline. Alkalinity, when we're referring to alkalinity, we're talking about measuring the solution's ability to resist the change in pH. Right? It's not describing a characteristic of pH. It's referring to the system's or the solution's ability to resist the change in pH. So in other words, the alkalinity is like, I would classify it, or I would describe it as being like the protective agent of the pH. It's like the bodyguard for the pH, right? You got to go through the alkalinity before you really could do some damage on the pH. So alkalinity is there, it's the buffer, right? It's the middleman. You got to go through that first before you start doing your damage on the pH. So a system with high alkalinity, that's what that means is you're going to require more acid or more base in order to change the system's pH. Right? In order to get to that pH to start doing some drastic damage or start doing drastic fluctuations, you're going to have to put a much more acid or much more base in there in order to get through the alkalinity to change the pH. Does that make sense? So you have to add more acid to get through this middleman, the alkalinity, in order to start making a drastic impact on the pH. Whereas if you have a low amount of alkalinity, you can add less amount of acid or base, and it doesn't take, you can add less amount of acid or base, and it doesn't have much buffer or much of that bodyguard to go through before it can change the pH. That's what that's referring to when we're talking about alkalinity. Now, alkalinity, it consists of, or it's what contributes to alkalinity are the compounds. You know, you got hydroxides, you got carbonates, and you have bicarbonates. These are the primary compounds that are going to be added to the system to contribute to alkalinity. And you're going to be adding or increasing alkalinity once your pH starts to dip below 7, 6.9, 6.8, 6.5. You're going to start adding, a compound in the form of a hydroxide, a carbonate or a bicarbonate, and to increase the pH. So as you mentioned before, if adding or increasing the pH also adds alkalinity, it does, but they're not the same exact thing, right? It does, but they're not the same exact thing. When you increase your alkalinity, it does increase the pH, but that does not mean that it's that having high pH means that you have high alkalinity automatically, because you can have a solution that has high pH with low alkalinity. And conversely, you can have a system that has high alkalinity with low pH. So they're not one and the same. Although when you add alkalinity, it does increase the pH, but that's not always the case where you start off with in your solution, right? That's not always the case. So in order to distinguish between the two and keep it fairly simple, is we have to understand that alkaline is just interchangeable for basic. So if you get confused with alkaline and alkalinity, just remove the word alkaline and add basic in there, and just throw away the word altogether. So to help you out. But alkaline is a characteristic of pH. More hydroxides than hydrogen ions, that is an alkaline solution, right? That's an alkaline solution, a characteristic of the pH. When we're referring to the buffering capacity or the bodyguard of the solution, how the ability of that solution to resist the change in pH, we're referring to alkalinity. The more alkalinity you have in a solution, the more acid or base you're going to have to add in there in order to make an impact on that pH. The lower alkalinity, the less amount of pH or less amount of acid or base you have to add in there to make a certain impact on the pH. You see what I'm saying? So hopefully that has cleared that up for you and anyone else out there that is asking about it. Because I know this could get tricky. I know it can be, just because of the words there. The pronunciation of alkaline and alkalinity, it's similar, so it does cause confusion. So I can clearly understand that. But just use the word basic instead. That'll help you out so you won't get confused. But when we're talking about alkaline in aquaponics, that's what we're referring to. Right? So hopefully that has helped you out, my man Alan. has given you some clarity, and you're able to distinguish between alkaline and alkalinity. All right, so if any of you guys out there have other questions, be sure to leave it in the comment section below. And make sure you guys leave good questions, detailed questions, so we can provide some feedback and get this thing, hot and informational. Right? If you need more help with aquaponics, be sure to click on the link below, get you a free aquaponics starter guide. Get in there and get a free aquaponics course. Also go to the School of Aquaponics. We got free and paid courses there. You get into aquaponics paradise, right? And that's going to teach you the fundamentals of aquaponics and get you growing and skip past all the extra stuff and get you right to the core of aquaponics, which is what is required to be proficient with aquaponic growing. So I want to thank you guys again for liking the video, subscribing to the channel. I absolutely appreciate you guys. I love you guys out there, the viewers. You guys are great, wonderful, and I appreciate it. So until next time, this is Brooklyn St. Michael with the School of Aquaponics reminding you to stop walking and get you a car.